Howdy, everybody. Good morning. We're going to attempt to do a live here from Valdosta, Georgia. I am in the hotel lobby, and I wanted to give everybody an update. Everybody was asking me if we're going to go live, and we were live Thursday. I wasn't live yesterday, but now that we got the Beryl, I want to give everybody an update here. Hopefully, it comes through. If the connection's not that great, I apologize, but it's about the information, hopefully, and I can't read comments, so I apologize for that. We'll be more intimate tomorrow night. We'll have a special live tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, sometime on Sunday. We'll announce it, and then back to normal Monday, Tuesday next week. But definitely want to get everybody up to date. Got all our brew crews checking in and talk about things, okay? Sneaky Beryl, making history. It is the farthest east tropical storm on record this time of year, and it's soon to be a hurricane. We got a lot of people that watch us down there in the islands, Barbados, the Windward Islands. They're going to be dealing with a possible major hurricane just tomorrow night, Sunday night into Monday morning. So that's first ones we're worried about for sure. It's a tiny little storm. Little storms like this can wrap up fast, and they can also dissipate fast. And then we'll talk about where it's going. Okay, so we'll get into all that and show you what's going on. Let me show you the latest graphics here. Here's the Windy app. I just want to give you an idea what we're looking at. So we got Invest 94 over here. It's about ready to exit the Yucatan, and it's pretty sloppy, but we do have a little bit of low. The way the land is in the BOC, the curvature of the land can spin up a storm. And this apparently has a good chance of doing that. It is likely going to stay in Mexico, maybe some rains for lower Texas, but this little guy here is going off. We're going to get into Beryl here. Beryl's got very good signature, a lot of spin, almost a hurricane. There it is, clear as day. Riding south of that dust. Everybody's been wondering, well, where's the dust? Where's the dust? Well, our last couple low riders have been low underneath that dust. And then we got a new little system over here. There's the Cape Verde Islands, and we're starting to see a little spin on that. This one's been popping up on the radar for several days. We talked about it on Thursday, and now it's an official area marked by the NHC. There's the current map. My microphone might be struggling a little bit. Oh, I just closed the MB crew. Oh, well. Oh, boy. The current NHC map here, let me show you. Let me drag this over here real quick. So Invest 94 we have is orange. This new area behind Beryl. And then, of course, Beryl. Let me load up something here real quick. I don't know if I messed my live up or not, or chat. Let me pull up my live here real quick. So if you're just tuning in, welcome everybody. I'm away on a family weekend up here in Georgia. Emily's got a big softball tournament, so that's where I'm at. We'll be back home tomorrow, and we'll be doing a special live. And Shelly, let me know if we're still live on the Brew Crew. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep talking here. I can't open it. I'm out of Windows. Bill, what's up? Let's see. Oh, join as a viewer. Join as the speaker. Okay, let me join. Hold on. Okay, we got to reboot one thing here. Darn it. Hang on. Hang on a minute. Close this out. And go back live here. All right, I'm going to reboot the one stream here. We're trying to stream on four platforms here. Let's see if I can get in here. Let's see. Getting there. Okay, we're good. All right. Cool. All right. All right. So that's what we got. Let's talk about everything. So we got Invest 94. We're not only talking about it for like 2 seconds. This 94 is this little area over here in the BOC, Mexico. We're back on the Brew Crew. Okay. Here's what it looks like. These are the latest tropical tidbits models. A couple of them are going a little to the north, but that's pretty high confidence. This thing's going to be going into Mexico. So if you're in Texas, doesn't look like you're going to get anything. Couple days here in the BOC, we could get this thing spin up. We could use another name. That's always good. These are latest intensity models on Invest 94. And rainfall, you know, a couple models are showing maybe some rain down here in lower Texas, big rains down in Mexico. So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's, you know, heavy rain from Mexico, but other than Texas, I don't know. The southern bottom tip, maybe with some rain. So that's it for that one. Let's jump right into Beryl now. Beryl's that one, barreling along. Beryl is barreling along. It's a small little system. Like, if you just join in, it's record breaking. We've never had a system this far east this time of the year. It's expected to be a hurricane any minute, and it could be a major hurricane nearing Barbados and the islands here Sunday night and a Monday morning. That's what it looks like. Bursts of convection. The pressures are dropping. It's feeding off of these super duper warm waters, which let me show you here. These guys, we've been showing these models so many times from Brian McNulty, showing that ocean heat content. The ocean heat content waters have just been totally like record breaking. The water temperatures on June 29th right now are where they normally are the first part of September. That's incredible, right? So that's kind of why we're seeing this happening, which we've normally never see, honestly, in this area. So, you know, that's been the talking point all season long, is this water temperature, and I think we're starting to see the effects of these water temperatures and what they could possibly do. So, you know, Mother Nature doesn't know it's June 29th. It could be a preview of the season ahead. I know there's been a lot of people thinking everybody's been hyping the season, but these, you know, to get a major hurricane is going to be record breaking, and it's only end of June. All right, so these water temperatures, let me close this out. This is where we're at, and that's what's going on. Latest track, here we go. This one just came out at 11 a.m. All right, this is the freshest track from the National Hurricane Center. Remember, the National Hurricane Center comes out with a track every 6 hours. Our next one will be 5 p.m. It is expected to be a hurricane this evening. It's supposed to be a major hurricane in 2 days, which is going to be right on top of the islands there. 115 miles an hour now is what they're expecting. Crazy, right? Major hurricane. A lot of folks down there, this is not, they do not get a lot of hurricanes like this down there, major hurricanes. So they're definitely under the gun right now, getting ready. Hurricane watches are up for a big part of the Windward Islands down there in Barbados. So this track's been pretty solid, west-northwest. Unfortunately, it's been, you know, setting its eyes on Jamaica and then possibly the Cayman Islands. Okay, you notice though that this hurricane intensity map from the National Hurricane Center has been dropping the last couple days. So we go from 115 to 105 to 90. So the main consistency here is two things. The steering mechanism that we've been watching is that strong Bermuda high. Okay, there's a little front coming down Monday. It's going to lift our system up a little bit, but then that high pressure builds back in. If you read the latest National Hurricane Center discussion, that's what they're saying. The high pressure is going to build back in quick, and it's going to continue on that west-northwest track. That confidence seems pretty confident. I know we got a lot of people in Florida panicking. But if you watch me all year long, we've been talking about this strong Bermuda high, and that's been the story of this season so far. Especially with La Nina, we might see this west-northwest track a lot this season, and that's kind of what we're looking at right now. It might get a little bump to the north, so that's going to keep the Western Gulf on edge, definitely. Yucatan on edge, but look at the official intensity forecast. It's dropping a little bit, and I'm going to show you some more modeling that really helps support that. And why? There's supposed to be a lot of wind shear. This is called the Caribbean graveyard this time of the year because we get a lot of wind shear still. And the peak La Nina that we're transitioning to, that's supposed to really magnify the hurricane season, really isn't here yet. We're going to start seeing La Nina relaxing of the winds later season. So to have this early is definitely not. I don't think anybody had this on the radar. It's something this strong. With all the dust that we're seeing and La Nina winds still kicking in with this time of year. So, totally above expectation on that. So these are high intensity models. We've shared them a lot. And originally the National Hurricane Center wasn't talking about major hurricane status, but now they are. These are winds in knots. Remember, knots are a little bit more than miles per hour. So miles per hour are going to be more than knots. These are pretty strong. These are smack dab over close to Barbados. They're continuing to be in the worst spot right now for the initial land, and these are strong. These are strong. That's why we're looking at a potential major hurricane Sunday night into Monday morning. So that this is the H Wharf, the HMON, the HFSA, halves A, halves B are all showing this intensity pretty strong. So you definitely want to take precaution down there. In Barbados, and of course the islands. Now this is a map I posted this morning. I know, what the hell is a bunch of red and all this stuff. Well, these are just 4 models: the Euro, the GFS, the Icon, and the Canadian. Well, this red area is high pressure, and this red area is on Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Stronger this high pressure is, it's almost impossible for this thing to make a hard right turn. So the hype that's going on out there, obviously, is Florida, Louisiana, but this high pressure system is almost going to make that impossible for this thing to do any sort of a right turn straight due north in the Gulf. It could ride it. It could make a little more northwest motion. Yes, that's why, Western Gulf, still we're going to be watching this thing close, even with the weakening that's expected, which I'm going to show you the models. You never can say this thing can't just have a little outside window to redevelop as it exits this year. Small systems can ramp up fast. They can fall apart fast. So it's, how strong it gets to before these rougher conditions and how it survives. And if it's strong, stronger than they think, 120 miles an hour, 125, it might reduce down to 100. Maybe it'll bounce back, but wind shear can also tear a storm apart. But this is the steering mechanism, this map right here, why there's high confidence on this west-northwest track. With that cold front, I posted a bunch of maps showing Monday a cold front. That's why we're going to get a little bump to the north, and then this high is building back in midweek, which might keep it on that track. There's the water temperatures. We talked about that. Here's the latest spaghetti models on tropical tidbits. These just come out 12Z. These run every 6 hours. Next ones will be the 18Zs, and they are usually out around 3 p.m. But pretty good confidence, right? This west-northwest track, you can see this little bump to the north, and then this continues on with that west-northwest track. Jamaica, Caymans, Yucatan, Belize, and then, down the road, we'll see if this thing continues on. We're starting to see a little bend to the north. This is what I'm going to talk about here in a second. And we got a system behind. We're going to talk about that here in a second, too. This is Beryl. There's still another system that's coming in behind that could also be following Beryl's footsteps, an almost exact track, kind of like we saw with our invests in Alberta, right? Weather patterns set up, and we don't get a lot of change. But whatever's coming in behind Beryl might be hitting the same areas that are being affected from Beryl, which, back to 2004 with Florida, we can see this. So there's another system we're going to talk about here in a second that's following in Beryl's footsteps. That might have a better chance of curving up a little bit down the road. But we're starting to see a little bend here. So this is where, this was always my concern, this when it turns, if it gets a little weakening in this high pressure and can pull into that Western Gulf. So kind of keep your eyes on these. The TVCN is a consensus model. It's gray on tropical tidbits, but we're seeing a little bit of turn. But again, it's expected to weaken some here. That's how much we'll have to see. Smaller systems weaken faster than larger systems, but they also can intensify faster. But over the years, we've seen a lot of small systems where the upper level shear reduces it to a naked swirl, and weaker systems end up crashing into Mexico there and falling apart. So there's still a lot of unknowns on that. Here are your intensity models. Okay, these are also on tropicaltidbits.com. High confidence, this thing ramps up fast, possibly ramps down slow, or ramps down just as much fast. So there is confidence this thing's going to weaken down the road. So if we get a major hurricane initially, it should weaken down the road. But look at this. We're starting to see a little bit of bounce back here around day 4. So this is where we got to watch. Once it clears out away from some of that wind shear, it's not over yet. Latest spaghetti model ensemble plots. This is your latest GFS. Notice less going north. That's good for consistency. And notice these colors. So when you pull up the Weather Nerds ensemble map, this is a gauge on wind knots, basically. And the main takeaway out of all these models, GFS and Euro, has been that we're going to have an intensifying storm and then a weakening storm. That's trends are your friends if you're new to tracking tropics. The trend that we're seeing is a bump north and then a turn back more west-northwest. And the other trend is a weakening system once it gets past this initial intensification. So we're going to watch these trends. We're watching that high pressure. Steering maps become more believable 3 or 4 or 5 days out than they are 7 days out. Now we're seeing that Bermuda high. Patterns set in early year, right? We're seeing this Bermuda high already. That's going to be probably what drives this thing west-northwest. Watch. Here are your latest European ensembles. Okay. So the Euro, again, look at these colors. Intensifying, and then weakening. So that confidence. Couple outliers. We don't worry about 1 or 2 of these outliers, but we do start to see this little turn. If the system does not deteriorate, this is a very possible idea where this thing could maybe try to reorganize a little bit in these Gulf waters. So think about all the storms we've seen kind of push in that direction, right? So it's kind of the flow. But if you're watching from Florida, the East Coast, the Bahamas, looks like it's staying south, right? Right. I haven't seen much change on that. Here's your 5-day Euro ensembles, and the black line is the average mean average right there. And remember, these are your timestamps: 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, 92 hours, 120 hours. Give you an idea of what day we're looking at. All right, so let's talk about this other area here. Anything else I need to close out here real quick? We're going to talk about this area coming in from behind. There's what Beryl looks like currently. This area coming in behind, we're going to start talking about because it's been very consistent. These are some runs that I posted earlier today. I know it's hard to see, but the point of this was none of the operational runs were predicting this to happen as far as intensification goes. Now we have intensity models, which I love to death. H-Warp's my best friend. I've seen it right more than wrong. Intensity on these other models have not really shown Beryl doing what it's doing. So it's important to note that, but they all are showing this next system as one to watch. Maybe even a little stronger down the road. So we're going to go look at all the models here, just tropical tidbits. I love to do this. We're going to do this. Again, listen, if you're just tuning in, I am not home. We're going to do a special live tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening from my studio. And then we'll be back to normal on Monday. I felt like I needed to give everybody something a little extra. But I'm doing those reels now, which are unbelievable. So that's kind of a makeup for not going live. I'll do another one this afternoon. And all the Brew Crewers, thanks for tuning in. Sorry I hit the button and closed you all out, but I think we're back. If you see my setup here, you'd all laugh. I'm in the lobby. I'm in the breakfast area at Hampton Inn. And I didn't want, honestly, the reason I'm not in my room is because we didn't have housekeeping last night. Julie made sure we had some tonight, and they're getting ready to do it. And I'm like, well, girls need to be happy. So I just made it down here work. And I'm streaming on my little MiFi thingy that I've showed everybody in the past. One of the things that I use for hurricane tracking. I'm sure any IT people out there, I do speed tests. And I'm testing my phone, I'm testing their network, I'm testing my 2 different MiFis, and I hope I got one that's decent. All right, because we're in Valdosta. I mean, come on. I mean, we're off the interstate. All right, so here's all the latest GFS models. So here's that. So 3 things we're watching this week. Invest 94, and the area behind Beryl isn't an Invest yet. At least when I went live. So we don't have spaghetti models on the area behind Beryl yet. I'm a little surprised we don't have. Well, we really don't have a true center yet. So. All right, so here's the latest GFS. There's our weak area going into Mexico. Watch 2 things you're going to watch for. This is Beryl coming in. We're going to see that front coming down. You're going to see a little blue across the U.S. That's going to allow this little bit of lift. But then what we're watching for are these reds coming in, which is the high pressure building back in, and that's what's going to continue this west-northwest push. So classic. Was kind of predicted for this season so far. All right, so here's Beryl. We know it's going to be strong. We know this is what it's going to do. It could get close to Hispaniola. Most models are keeping it just south. Unfortunately, it's going to be very close. Keep watching, but then Jamaica's like been in the path from day one. Here's our new system coming in from behind. That'll be, maybe something to watch. It's showing development on a lot of runs. All right, let's rewind. This is Wednesday morning. Okay, Wednesday morning. There's our new area entering the islands. Almost the exact path that Beryl took. Unbelievable. Just 2 days later. 2 days later, we can see. I mean, when does that ever happen? 2 days. 2 days, man. I can't even imagine something coming, and it's strong. I mean, there's a chance the one behind Beryl could be a hurricane too. All right, so here's Wednesday midday. Unfortunately, heading right towards landfall, maybe in Jamaica. 989 the euro or the GFS now predicting the second area behind Beryl to possibly be. There's the Caymans. Gary, if you're watching, that Thursday morning, still a hurricane over the Caymans. Now, GFS starting to do this little turn towards the Yucatan Friday morning. This is July the 5th. And then we're watching the new area. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. The idea on that new area is some of that's been pulling to the north. And I'm going to show you the latest. Let me show you that little blue, by the way, back to Monday. Here's that front right here. Boom. This is Monday. You can see that blue over Florida. That's kind of made a little gap. But then the high pressure builds back in pretty quick. And it doesn't show blue there, but we're looking at pressure readings building in. You can start to see it happening. Actually, this one's just running now. What's up with this one? This is, well, somehow I got on the 6s. What's going on here? I don't know. We don't have the 12Z yet. Huh. Interesting. Well, we got almost through the 12Z. Let's see. Oh, 12Z never got updated. Oh, there's the 12. Okay. 12Z was running maybe when I... Oh, 12Z just started running. Okay. So let's go back to... Hopefully. Nope, 12Z is still running. Let's go back to 6. There we go. All right, 12Z is running now. But anyway, this is what's going on. Weakening systems by the Yucatan. So, this is what we got to watch out for. After it gets to the Yucatan, even though the GFS only showing 1,003, it showed 1,005, so it's deepening a little bit in the BOC. This is Sunday next weekend, and here's that blob left over. So the important thing to note is this. The area behind Beryl, that high pressure is going to move around a little bit, right? There's a little front line showing here, so we got to keep an eye on this little guy. There's a lot of land, not shown developed, but some of that juice can make it into possibly Florida the following weekend. Here's leftover Beryl, and it just kind of hangs out there. But look what happens. 980, 991. So anybody that says the U.S. is 100% out of this thing is wrong, because this thing pulls a little to the north. It's going to be something we're going to have to watch. So nothing's ever guaranteed that far out. Spaghetti models on tropical tidbits show out to 7 days, but just keep that in your mind. West northwest, Western Gulf. We're going to keep an eye on this Beryl. Now let's look at the euro. Let's rewind it back to about right here where the euro is going to come into play, and then I'm going to show you the Canadian. Canadian's a pretty darn good model. It's been impressing me a lot over the last several years. But here's the latest euro. Let's fast forward it. Here is Tuesday, and it's tracking, a little south of Jamaica. Good news. That high pressure really building in. You can see that over at Florida. Euro reads upper air patterns very well. Stronger high would make this thing go a little more west. Here's our new area popping into the picture here next Wednesday. So the latest euro crashes Beryl down in the Yucatan, down in the Belize there. And there's our new area lifting a little bit. See that? Not organized. But what we're seeing is, one, the euro is never very good with intensity. The euro is great for looking at upper air patterns. And we're seeing the euro pull that area behind Beryl almost like the GFS did. So that's just something we're going to keep in mind. This would be next Saturday. All right, so let's go to the Canadian. Because we already know it's going to be a bad hurricane for the islands. There's no point of showing any of that right now. High confidence right now where the track's going to be, unfortunately for them, but they should be preparing now for sure. Now the Canadian model actually is the GEM. I don't know, I still call it the CMC. But here is the Canadian. All right, the 12Z is running now, so we're going to have to go to 00Z last night. So the new models are just coming in now. You can go take a look at them on Tropical Tidbits here in a little bit. Here is next Tuesday morning. A little more in the Hispaniola. Here's a new area coming in. Canadian into Jamaica a little bit there on Wednesday. Here's our new area coming in, developing. And it does a little better job. It fizzles out Beryl, but it actually kind of pulls up a little bit. So, not a forecast. Don't quote me on that. But you got 3 models kind of showing you that same idea, that the system behind Beryl has a little bit more of a gap and a little less high pressure, maybe, and letting it kind of lift north into the following weekend. But we're going to keep an eye on that. Now, when we start to get spaghetti models, we don't have spaghetti models yet. What we do have are weather nerds. We can go there real quick. The point of that is to tease everybody. The area behind Beryl could be interesting, especially for the islands to see something. Weather nerd is getting overused. Exceeding load capacity. She's going to blow. But yeah, that's the gist of it. I got the girls showing up here in about 2 minutes, 5 minutes maybe. They haven't texted me yet. They were going to Chick-fil-A. They didn't ask me if I wanted anything, though. But let's try refresh one more time. If not, we can go to another site. Oh, it worked. All right. So let's loop the 10-hour euro. We're going to be paying attention to a low pressure. I haven't looked at this yet. We're looking right here. This area right here. This is the area behind Beryl. These are the European ensembles. We're going to see if there's any lift north. I know it looks harder to see, but well, kinda. Kinda. A little bit more uncertainty, I think, with that. I got another good model site. We can look at more ensemble spaghetti. We'll look at some more spaghetti. But that high pressure is building back in right now. So the good news is we kind of have an idea that this thing's going to keep on going west-northwest. Still a little concerned about the Western Gulf, but as far as that high, it was all about the high. The high pressure was everything. We knew the high pressure was going to be strong this season, and so far it has indeed played out to maybe be big influencer on these west-northwest tracks. Let's go 15 days out. It's hard to see anything with this one. But if anybody in the Bahamas, anybody Southeast U.S., Upper Gulf is concerned about any of these, Beryl's not your storm. But the one behind it could be sneaky if we do get a little gap and this thing starts to turn up. But then we got to start looking at land interaction with Hispaniola, Cuba. So, but yeah, that's an update. I don't know. But there you go. So in a nutshell, let's just put it on things right now. Let's put it on this little guy right here. In a nutshell, Invest 94s in over the Yucatan. This is going to be a rainmaker, big rainmaker for Mexico. Maybe some rains in Texas, but that high pressure is building in. I don't know. It's going to probably just keep on going to Mexico. Beryl, we talked a lot about it. It's making that west-northwest track, unfortunately, very close to Hispaniola. Islands for sure, Windward Islands. Barbados, unfortunately, looks like it might take a direct hit. And then Jamaica's really been in that center line. Hopefully the Euro's your friend and it trends a little to the south, a little bit weaker. Caymans too. Then we're going to be watching Beryl for the Yucatan, and then what happens after the Yucatan. Is there going to be a little window for this thing to try to reorganize a little bit? So, smaller system, they can ramp up fast. They affect less people, but they have a lot of winds. They can also be affected a lot more and downgrade faster. So these little systems are tricky. Not a very large system. And then the area behind it is the one we just got done talking about, the X over there south of Cape Verde Islands. This is the one that's going to be following Beryl through the islands only by like 2 or 3 days. So when Beryl makes landfall somewhere, we're going to have the new area right behind it. And then the new area is going to be maybe a little more opportunity to pull to the north next weekend. So timing-wise, on that area behind Beryl, worst case, if that thing did affect somebody in the southeast, timing would be a week from now. This is Sunday morning next week. And again, there's the area behind, just to kind of show you, and the Euro showing a general idea that there could be some low pressure in the same area. Let's go to Sunday on the Euro. About right there. There's a new area, not very organized on the Euro, but kind of gives you the idea. It might pull north a little bit up into the Gulf. So there's that new area behind Beryl on the Euro. Here's that new area on the GFS. 12Z is running now. So latest 12Z, though, it is worth noting, 991 for our new area. And unfortunately, still organized over Jamaica on the latest GFS. Double trouble. This would be Wednesday. Beryl and the new one. You're really curious following this new one, what it does. Anyway, I covered a lot, I hope. Shelly, Shelly text me or whatever if anybody, anything I missed. So again, we'll be special live tomorrow. We will, tomorrow afternoon, evening. Kelly says everything's good. Cool. Never streamed from a Hampton Inn before. So we got a lot of new app users. Thank you very much for that. Should be updated. Show the African. Well, give me an email, Shelly, if some ideas like you did last time. We'll do a really good one tomorrow. I'll be back home in my ABC Fine Wine and Spirits studio. We just had a new upgrade on the app for the Apple, which is great. So some of the features weren't working for everybody, but we just had an Apple update. But check it out. You can open the website up from it, and or you can subscribe and get a little bit more. Should be working good. And have a great Saturday. We got softball. The girls got eliminated the first game. It was a heartbreaker. We were ahead 4-0, and they came back and won 5-4. So now we're in a loser's bracket. We lose one more, we go home. So today we could play 5 games. I told them, let's just play like 2. Then we can go out tonight. Hey Eric, what's up? Michael Steven. I got my Brew Crew chat up. The only chat I got up is the Brew Crew chat. That's our Cat 1, Cat 5s. So thanks Diane, thanks Brandy, thanks Eileen. Y'all see Bob Parrish. What's up, Joe? What's up, Brittany Williams? Sue Hausman. Yeah, Julie and the girls are hanging out. Oh, Julie just said we're here. So, all right, I better sign off. Cool. All right, hey, listen, we'll see you all tomorrow. Watch for a special announcement. We'll go live tomorrow. Okay, have a great rest of your day, and I'll do a reel here probably about 4 o'clock. I usually do a reel after the European ensembles. All right. See you later, alligator.